Okay, during this video we're going to look at Microsoft Word and then specifically how tables are used in Microsoft Word. Now a good example of how useful tables are can be seen in this document right here. Now this document is basically a cover letter, somebody applying for a job. And as a rule, in a cover letter, the whole key is to make it quick and easy to read. Now what I want to basically concentrate on is this idea of a table. This area right here that I've highlighted contains our table. Now the purpose of a table is really to display information in such a way so that it's formatted that it's easy to read. It stands out. It's quick and easy to read. Looking at this table, it's made up of two columns of information. Column 1 has to do with the needs of the employer. The second column has to do with your experience, what you bring to the table. So it's two columns. And tables are always made up of rows that contain the information. And in fact, this table is made up of 7 rows, 5 of which contain information. So you got a row over here, a row here, here, a blank row, another row, still another row, and lastly a blank row. But once again, you can see this table that's clearly outlining the needs of the employer and then the experience of that person applying for the job. It's quick and easy to read. What we're going to do next is we're going to create another sheet. We're going to copy some of this information onto the new sheet and also create our own table. Some of the things we want to do is we want to come up here to the Quick Access toolbar. Hit that down arrow and put a check mark next to New. After doing that, you now have an icon that allows you to create a new sheet. So we're going to click on that and we have our new sheet. Next what we're going to do is we want to have both sheets open at the same time. How we do that is by clicking on View and come over here and click on View side by side. So what we have in the left area here is our blank sheet, and over here on the right side our cover letter. Once again, it's very useful to be able to do this, where you can go in and easily copy information from one file and post it and paste it into another. For instance, this area right here, not including the table, we could highlight, right click, copy, come into the blank sheet, right click, and paste it. Now if we wanted to, we could come in here on the cover letter sheet, highlight the entire table, copy it, and paste it over here in our blank sheet. But for this exercise, we want to learn how to insert or create a table from scratch. So the steps to do that, to create our table in Word, is to come over here to the Insert tab, click on it, click on Table, the down arrow, and then you can basically draw your own table. Now once again, a table is always made up of columns and rows. So we're going to start off by moving our mouse in the top cell and then the second row, which basically gives us 2 columns. Hold it down to this point right here, which is basically giving us 2 columns, 4 rows. And then left click. So we now have a table drawn, made up of 2 columns, 2 columns, and 4 rows. We're going to now begin to fill out or fill in our table. So we're going to start at the top row, and we're going to type in your needs. To move to the next cell, you can either use your mouse to click in here or hit the tab key. Type in my experience. Come down to the second row, and we're going to type in underneath your needs a minimum of a bachelor's degree. Now after typing in our information, we can begin to format that table. We can close this document over here or minimize it. Now looking at our table here, some of the things that we might want to do is to take that top row and make it bold. How you can do that is by highlighting within the cell that top row. Within your Home tab, make it bold. We could then come in and center it. Stands out a little bit better. Let's look at the information in our rows beneath. So we can highlight them by holding down our left mouse, and then we could come in and apply bullets. Stands out a little bit better. You can see this marking over here. This is a way of highlighting everything within your table. 4 arrows. If you click it, your entire table is highlighted. Click inside of it, and it's no longer highlighted. Similar to a global button that you would use in Excel. How that can be useful is that by highlighting the table, you've defined everything within the table, and in fact you would be able to apply a formatting command to everything that is highlighted. Just one way of using that format button. Still looking at our table, sometimes you might want to auto-fit your table within the page. The way to do that is by clicking on the button here to select the entire table. Click on the layout right over here, Autofit, and you have the ability to auto-fit within the entire window. That's where it is right now. Or auto-fit the contents. Or choose fixed column width. I'm going to go back to auto-fit the entire window. When you're within this view, you have the ability also to click on the various buttons up here to insert rows or columns, also to merge cells. As a rule, I like to just come within a cell itself, say this row right here, right click, and you'll get a menu that will allow you to insert a column or a row. In this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a row above where I'm at. Here's my new row, made up of 2 cells. Now what's common whenever you're using a table many times is that you might want to have a title, and you would want to center that title across the page. So how you would go about that is that with the entire row highlighted, you would right click and come down here to merge cells. You can see that there's no longer a line showing here. It's just one cell across the entire page. How that's useful is that if we had a title, and I'm just going to type in the word title, you could come across this entire page, highlight it, center it, and if we wanted to, we could even increase the size of that title. It's highlighted, as you can see. Make it a little bit larger so it stands out. Coming back to this cell right here, just highlight it within the text, and a lot of times you want it to have some room so it stands out even more. So what you might want to do is increase some space either above the title or below it. And the way you go about doing that is by clicking on the Page Layout tab, and we can come over here to where it says spacing before or after. I'm going to start off with before, increase that to 6 points above. You see that we have more space above our title. I could come down here and change the spacing after and change that to 12, or maybe even 18. You see you have much more space here. It's standing out. Change the spacing before up to 18. And once again, we could even come in here where we have your need.